Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be talking about some Spider-Man 2 as we've got a sort of rumor running around the internet right now. We're going to talk about that and kind of dive into it and the credibility that could be there and what that could possibly mean for the future of Spider-Man. We're also going to be talking about a really odd situation with Redfall. While that isn't a PlayStation game, I do want to briefly talk about it and my thoughts on it as well, since it is something that's really heavily rotating online. Quickly, before we jump into that, if you could do me a huge favor, show your support, like the video, subscribe. We are on the road to 10K subscribers. You can also share this video out to your friends and your timelines. It goes a long way as well. Now, let's talk about this Spider-Man 2 update. This comes from Hip Hop Gamer, and before everybody jumps on me about this, because I have had people in the past kind of say, why are you talking about this? Let's talk about Hip Hop Gamer's past in terms of things they've said that have been correct. I believe he confirmed Kratos was going to be in Mortal Kombat 9. He talked about the PS5 controller having haptics prior to us knowing. He also talked about the temperature changes, and obviously that's come out as a patent, so that's kind of almost like, in a way, a confirmation of what they were talking about, as well as some backwards compatibility with the PS5 that ended up coming true with PS3, PS2, and PS1 games, although not to the scale that he originally intended, although that could be something that comes down the road, as we've heard a lot about that from like Jeff Grubb as well. So I do want to address the credibility side of things. And yes, he has been wrong in the past as well. I've seen very many comments talking about times he has been wrong as well, but I think we have to address people based on things they've gotten right, things they've gotten wrong. And in the case like this, I feel like he's gotten enough things right where this rumor, we should discuss it, but we still walk away from it as just a rumor. So now that I've got that out of the way, let's talk about this. And basically, he went to Twitter, and he also made a video about this, but I'm going to talk about the Twitter post that he made. And he says, I can confirm Spider-Man 2 from the legendary Insomniac games will feature and build upon the Ratchet and Clank world shifting, meaning get ready for the next level of what a multiverse looks like in gaming. Also, graphically and gameplay-wise, this is the most open and fluid experience you will see so far this generation. Before other outlets steal this content and claim they broke it, look at this video link so you can know who's been breaking Spider-Man 2 stories before everyone else. So he did make a video about it if you're interested. I'll leave a link in the description for those of you that want to check it out. But I do want to talk about the things that he said here. Number one, he's talking about the integration of Ratchet and Clank world shifting, which is very interesting. I think that is something that isn't impossible to see. I think it's surely possible that we could see that. I mean, in what way they do it is another story. It's hard to really elaborate on that and kind of go further into that with it being so vague. But his claim is that there is going to be world shifting from Ratchet and Clank to a degree, not the exact same thing. But he also says that there is going to be some sort of multiverse for Spider-Man, which if they're working on Wolverine as well, that could be a possibility. You know, it doesn't seem impossible that these things would happen, right? I mean, that's if they continue to go down the road of we're just going to work on Marvel IP, which, God, I hope that's not the case. As much as I enjoy Spider-Man and I'm looking forward to Wolverine, I need those Insomniac original IP. I need another Ratchet and Clank. I need, oh God, please give us another Sunset Overdrive. You know, those things I still really care about. But yeah, I think that those kind of things are definitely possible. Now, the next thing he says about it being graphically and gameplay-wise the most open and fluid experience we will have ever seen this generation. You know, and that's another vague statement because, well, obviously, that's kind of expected when we're talking about the latest games that come out from Sony's first party. That's something that we 100% expect. So that's kind of a safe thing to say. I think that is probably one of the safest things in this tweet itself. So I'm not going to dive into that and what that could mean, because obviously when we're talking about the latest Spider-Man game from Insomniac, which they are known for fluid experiences with amazing gameplay and it's just a fun time, we expect the next level up with their next entry. And especially with Sony's first party, we know that that's what they're all about, is great first party AAA experiences, and they deliver every time. So I feel like this is a very safe statement to make. But this whole thing about the multiverse and talking about world shifting abilities, I think, or world shifting in the game, is going to be what is not the so safe thing to say, in my opinion. I don't think just because it was in Ratchet and Clank that surely it's got to be in Spider-Man, because it may not actually fit into that game. But we'll see what happens. I mean, if this ends up being real, I'll definitely, you know, we'll come back to it when the time comes and say, hey, look, Hip Hop Gamer was right about this. And if it's not real, well, then it's going to really, you know, he's going to take a hit on his credibility for sure. But I did want to talk about this rumor. It is a rumor. Take it as a rumor. Don't take it as anything else, because it's not from Insomniac. And simply put, if it's not from Insomniac, even when it's from a credible source, like if it was from Tom Henderson, for example, we technically should still take everything as a rumor unless it's coming from official sources. But yeah, love to hear you guys' thoughts on this one. What do you think of this rumor? Now, next, I want to talk to you guys about Redfall. Of course, Redfall is a Xbox game, so I'm not going to dive into like what Redfall is about, because that's really not a game that we're going to be playing on the channel anyway or discussing on the channel. I really want to talk about the drama around this, right? So recently, if you didn't know, they announced that there's only going to be a quality mode for Redfall at launch, with Xbox Series X launching it and it being played at 4K 30 FPS and Series S being 2K 30 FPS. They're saying the 60 FPS performance mode will be added via a game update at a later date. And this to me is unacceptable. And I'm not going to sit here and like rag on Xbox. That's not what I do here on this channel. That's not what I'm interested in doing. You know, Xbox has great games that I'm interested in as well. But I think the issue here, and the thing that I want to touch on, is that this is simply something that is, in my opinion, unacceptable. Playing a first-person shooter at 30 FPS is just, it's a terrible experience. And I know there are some people who would be like, oh, well, I like the 30 FPS experience. That's fine with me for the better visuals and all that. I understand that. But a lot of people who have experienced 60 FPS, especially in this generation, we are not interested in 30 FPS. And the fact that we don't even have an option at launch is like really, it's unacceptable in my opinion. I think that's just something that shouldn't be happening. Every game should launch with a performance mode. Sure, have a quality mode, but you gotta launch with a performance mode. And I feel like if you're not able to provide that, or if you need more time, it's best for you to just delay your games. And that's something that I appreciated about, you know, PlayStation Studios. They always launch with so many different varieties and game modes. You know, you look at Insomniac, they have quality. You know, they have performance, they have performance ray tracing, they have so many options with their games, and it's like, man, nobody really does it like them in terms of the variety of modes you can run the game at. And then obviously you still have, with their other titles, a fidelity mode and a performance mode at all times. So it's like, you have to provide that experience, even if the resolution is going to be low and maybe the textures aren't going to be that great, or whatever the settings are going to come down. Some people are willing to give that all up for that 60 FPS, and I actually am one of those people. So Redfall is pretty well unplayable to me, for me personally, on a console. I'd have to play it on my PC, which is naturally the route I go anyway, but in terms of everyone else, that's not really fair to them, you know, buying a Series X, hoping for the best experiences, being promised 60 FPS, up to 120 FPS, and you're not able to even do that at launch with one of your first-party titles. That to me is unacceptable, and I would definitely be calling out PlayStation if this was a case with them. I've always been honest. Like I roasted Forspoken to hell and back, you know, and a lot of people didn't like that, but I was being honest with my thoughts and my experiences. So this is the same situation. Obviously, this is a PlayStation channel for the most part, and we talk about PlayStation games, but I would give the same response and reaction if this was a first-party PlayStation title. But I'll leave it at that. I don't want to dive too deep into this. Just kind of talk about like what's happening there and my thoughts on it and how I would feel, you know, if it was PlayStation doing that. And I simply, first of all, that doesn't happen, and I'm grateful it doesn't happen. And if it did happen, I definitely would not accept that. But that is all I have for you guys in today's video. Please let me know what you guys think of all of this in the comments. If you have not subscribed already, please consider subscribing. Support the channel, hit the like button, share the video. It really goes a long way. You can follow me on Twitter. Link will be in the description. And as always, thank you all for watching. I will talk to you tomorrow during the State of Play live stream. Take care.